It is a lot of work keeping 7 kids alive. I'm not just talking about the basic needs, making sure that they're fed, making sure that they're clothed, making sure that they don't fold each other up in the sofa bed again. No, I'm talking about safety, that all out Herculean effort, that mama bear claws out, keeping her cubs safe. Safety. Safety had always been a top priority for me, and that included the family vehicle. We had that covered. We had a navy blue Chevy Express 15 passenger van. It was glorious. All those seat belts, safety. We had a lot of memories in that van, good and bad, but there is one that stands out above the rest by far. It had to have been the hottest day of the year. Turned evening. I had left the house with all 7 kids, dropped off the 2 eldest boys to my husband for a work project. They were 14 and 17. And I was traveling back across town with my youngest 5. My oldest daughter was 13, little mama hen, loved to corral the kids. Then I had my 12-year-old daughter, Rebel, who struggled with having one mama, let alone a mama hen. I had my middle son, Sam, raspy voice, laid back. And then my 8-year-old son loved to follow Sam and was prone to just kind of shrieking at these oddly random times. And then we had my 4-year-old blonde hair, blue eyes songbird. If she wasn't singing, that girl was not breathing. And that night she was singing at the top of her lungs. Baby beluga in the deep blue sea, top of her lungs. And behind me, those girls were going at it. If you turn around, you're not going to be safe. Turn around. Don't tell me what to do. You are not the boss of me. Girls, kids, keep it down. It was hot. It was humid. The air was not circulating all the way to the back of the van and back. It was really uncomfortable. And we were tired. We were hungry. We hadn't eaten yet. So food was on everybody's mind. Now, for me, that looked like the food that I had thawing on the fridge or on the stove at home, waiting a nice, nutritious meal. For my middle son, Sam, that looked like every fast food lit up sign that we drove by, and he was dropping these not so subtle hints. He would read them as we would go by. McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King. And then there was the 8-year-old. Mom, there's the shrieking. Mom, I look in the rearview mirror. Mom, I'm about to ground you all. But then I see him pointing at his sister. She's not buckled. She's not buckled. And I look at her, and as she's singing her song, her car seat is rocking back and forth. He's like, I don't know how to do it. You're the only one who knows how to keep her safe. You told me that, Mom. Duh, he's right. I did say that. Safety. So I look for the closest parking lot and I pull in, and it just so happened to be
How are
Burger
you today?
King.
Good.
The van
After
went wild. Sam was leading the chant, French fries, French fries, French fries. I unbuckle my seatbelt and turn around. I'm like, guys, we have food waiting at home. It didn't dampen their spirits. It just lowered the volume a little bit. French fries, French fries, French fries. Whatever. I just start to high step it over lacrosse sticks and elbow pads. I'm tripping over matchbox cars, and I get all the way to the back of the van, 4 rows back. And I reach my daughter and I look at her, give her a kind of weak smile, and she throws her arms open and she says, French fries, mommy. No, I can't win. I get behind her and I'm tugging on that safety strap and I'm making sure that that safety hook isn't going to let her rock anymore. When over the chaos, I hear the sound of that heavy metal front door creak wildly open. And I'm thinking, who's trying to get out as I'm tugging? But then I heard the sound that strikes terror in the heart of every parent. Silence. It went eerily quiet, and I shot up to see who was getting out of that front door. No one was getting out of the door. As a matter of fact, all my kids' heads were trained toward that front door. And I look at and I see all of a sudden this strange man launches himself up into the van and plops in the driver's seat, and his hands are on the steering wheel. I have never seen this man before in my life. It definitely was not my husband. All 5 heads turn and look at me and their jaws drop. I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking, are we about to be kidnapped? Are we about to be trafficked? I had no idea would I ever see my husband again. And all of a sudden, I'm like trying to summon Mama Bear. Where's the claws? Where's the paws? That is not what came out of me. What came out of me was this rather primal thing came up and strangled on the way out this rather polite, excuse me. What the heck? Excuse me. I was honking. I start again, but this guy's shoulders, they tighten up and he whips around and our eyes meet. My eyes narrow and his eyes bulge. His jaw drops as he looks from face to face and sees us all staring at him. I start again. Excuse me. And he says, geez, lady, you nearly gave me a heart attack. I thought I was getting in my car. I thought this was mine. Thought it was mine. And he throws his hands in the air. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. Like we're sticking him up, like we're going to kidnap him. I honestly think we terrified him more than he scared us. And out he tumbled backwards all the way and hightailed it to some janky pile of something on tires, which was nowhere near our Blue Beauty. It was blue, maybe I'll give it that. And he hightailed it out of the parking lot. And there I was. My hands were shaking. My knees were still trembling. And then this little voice began to pull me back to earth. Beluga, doo 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 doo. Yes, you're absolutely right. We really had been in some deep doo doo. I was terrified. But we were safe. What happened to Mama Bear? What was that? Excuse me, that honking. That wasn't Mama Bear. I had become Mother Goose. And maybe that was okay because maybe the world wasn't so scary a place that I had always thought that it was. And we were free, we were safe. Maybe that was really okay. And that's when I realized what we needed, what we really needed in that moment were carbs. That's right. I looked at my kids and I began the chant. French fries, French fries, French fries. They looked at me and their smiles widened and their shoulders relaxed. And they started, French fries, French fries. And that is exactly what we had that night. Freedom with a side of fries.